Right now on Talking Music, we have a very special review of One Hand on the Starry Plough. And there's only one person that can do that, and it is Paul Coates Black that is next to me. Hello, Paul.
Thank you, Chris.
No, that was a good introduction, really, really. Welcome to Talking
And thank
Music.
you for sending this through. To say I am a self-confessed Prowse fan would be possibly an understatement. I think I sold it to you a few years ago. Took
You
you to
did.
Leeds to have the pleasure of seeing Ian perform live, and we'll be doing so again later on this year.
We are indeed at the Brood now, absolutely, we are.
But as you say, he's got a new album due out next month,
Yes.
early February. He's played multiple songs whilst he's been performing live over the last couple of months, as well as on some of the Facebook shows that he's been doing during lockdown. You've come up trumps and provided me with a copy of the album. So I've been in touch with Ian. I've let him know that you've sent me this. He's given me permission to review it and put it out there mid-January. So thank you very much. So this is Ian's 9th studio album. If you're unfamiliar with the name, it continues with his singer-songwriter par excellence that's been with him throughout the 30-year career that he's had to date. Many highs. This promises this album to be a new personal best, with the songwriting and the performing once more coming from another universe. Ian started out in the early 90s as frontman with the band Plough, who released 2 studio, 1 live album, in addition to a handful of singles which graced the lower parts of the UK chart. Plough had a huge student following, many of whom still follow his music today, and as Ian often commented, if they'd sold as many records as t-shirts, they'd have been a huge.
Ah, there it is!
It's a running joke. I've got a large collection of Ian Prowse t-shirts, so it has on multiple occasions made his Facebook. I'm proud to say. To this day, he regularly releases t-shirts with the band's name on rather than his own, with a variety of lyrics and slogans on the back print. Following Pele's demise, the wilderness years followed, during which time he formed Amsterdam. They then subsequently released 2 albums. One track off the first, Does This Train Stop on Merseyside, featured in John Peel's final Festive 50, and it really reduced him to tears whenever he played it. And it has since been covered by many musicians. He's also got many friends in music, from Damien Dempsey to Elvis Costello, the latter of whom you can see Ian on the road with later on this year. So, onto the album. 10 tracks start with the first single, Battle, which starts with just Ian and his guitar before steadily building into the full band playing drums, guitar, violin. The inclusion of the violin allows Ian's Celtic influence to shine through, as it does on many of the tracks from the album. The album was written during lockdown, and Ian wears his political influences on his sleeve here, as the refrain of a different battle every day is repeated throughout the song. This is going to be a great song to sing along with Ian and the band live too. If you don't believe me, check out the video on YouTube from the link below. The next track, Holy Holy River, is again a gentle start with just Ian and his guitar before steadily building into a crescendo at the end of the first chorus. With the band's musicianship and backing vocals on this, the part is in full effect. Indeed, the last couple of minutes remind me of the Na Na Nas from that other great band from Liverpool, the Beatles, on Hey Jude. As Ian sings on repeat towards the end of the song, anything is possible and never give up, as the song fades out. Diego is predominantly just Ian and a piano. Around halfway through, the strings kick in, and very melancholy strong, straight from the same cloth as the one I mentioned earlier from Ian, Does This Train Stop on Merseyside. On No Trial, the tempo's raised, the party gets going, a song I'm sure Ian is going to enjoy hearing sung back to him. Whilst all his songs are ones that you learn, you often find those with a bit more rhythm get more fans jumping up and down as they perform live. The fans singing back every word. This is definitely one of those songs for that category. The last 18 months has sadly seen plenty of grief across the country. On My Old Black Tie, Ian reflects on loss and the importance of family. The instrumentation is just stripped back. It consists of just guitar and violin, and with Ian's vocals piercing over the top, combined to give this song a ballad-like quality. Swine, another track containing a reference to Ian's political influence, features a full band. It's ready to party, a la songs by the Waterboys or the Pogues. You can imagine the band's going to be bouncing up and down on stage whilst performing this, alongside the audience doing the same and dancing and singing it back to them. Big Feeling starts off gently with acoustic guitar and vocals, slowly builds in tempo with the strings, whilst at the same time it remains a gentle song that you can't help but fail to hang on to every word of. Just like Ian's song Home, this has got the potential to be a grower, which is held in the same reverence as that great love song. Dan is a swinging song with Ian's traditional Celtic vibe. It also features the violins and the flutes, and it's a very uplifting number. Just like the previous track, another song you can expect to hear the audience singing back to Ian and the band. Go Livio, stripped back with minimal instrumentation, led by Ian's vocals with intermittent backing vocals of woo! It gives the audience a chance to join and share the joy of the songwriting. The final song on the album, He Sings, I Cry, it builds slowly, with all the instruments starting before the vocals burst the song into life. From there on, there's a steady beat and rhythm tapped out amongst all the instruments, whilst Ian alternates vocals with a lead female vocalist, the two of whom complement each other perfectly. On this album, Ian once more excels on what he's done previously, his songwriting going from strength to strength. Early reviews are already praising his writing on the album. It's easy to see why the songwriting, the musicianship, and the vocal ability are once more 10 out of 10. In some quarters, he's earned the nickname of Scouse Springsteen. With songwriting like this, and it's easy to see why. The only crime is, why is Ian Prowse's name not a household one? Ian goes out on the road from March to May to promote the album. Tickets are available from his website, www.amsterdam-music.com.
There you go, on the screen now.
Before he heads off supporting Elvis Costello across the UK in June. Ian and the band always put 110% into a live performance. Go and see them. I can guarantee you'll not be disappointed. You'll definitely be going back for more. One Hand on the Starry Plough. It's available to pre-order now direct from the website, www.amsterdam-music.com. And it's available on both CD and purple vinyl and comes out in February 2022.
And obviously, Here I Lie was a really strong album. But, and how do you follow that? Well, you kind of, I can tell you were just blown away.
Yeah, he's done it. His producer is Tony Kiley, who used to be the drummer with the Blow Monkeys. And Tony sort of does say to Ian, you're not recording anything until I believe in the songs that much. So he's sort of said that. Elvis Costello has raved about the album. A lot of other musical friends have also been raving about this album.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be another phenomenally successful album. Just hopefully he will get the credit he deserves.
And before we go, we should mention that last year as well there was an Amsterdam kind of a re-release as well, wasn't there, that came out? Tell us a little bit more, because that was definitely worth mentioning.
So at the start of the very first lockdown back in March 2020, Ian was on the road with Elvis Costello, supporting Elvis. Of course, the tour was pulled. As a musician, he needed to be able to support himself financially. So what he started to do was do a show on a Friday night from the comfort of his apartment in Liverpool. So his partner would stream it live on Facebook. Unbeknownst to him at the time, his daughter would appear to suddenly be a strong vocalist, and she started to perform a song with him, and that became a regular feature. His daughter singing, as well as involvement from his partner in a feature that I shan't mention the title of, but you can check it out on Ian's Facebook page. They did 40 shows. One of over the course of the shows, they re-released an album called Attitudes, which Ian had originally done as a mail order release for Amsterdam back in the early noughties. And in terms of advertising at the time, it had been a case of putting posters up in the dark of the night to advertise it, and then mailing them out. And they sold a few and slowly, but the success of the lockdown shows meant that he was able to sell the album out very quickly on vinyl, CD. I don't think he did a cassette version of it. But it meant there was another great T-shirt for the collection.
Is there more back issues that you're looking forward to perhaps seeing, or
there is another album, The Curse, that is going to be was the second internet only release back in the early noughties that will be coming out. I believe he's looking at some point this year, and then he's going to look to reissue the first two Amsterdam albums. He has done the Pele albums to coincide with the 25 years, the first two studio albums. There was a live album that was released that hasn't been reissued as of yet, and there was also subsequently an album called This Time Next Year, which never was released at the time that the band were dropped
Oh,
by
right.
the label. So he is going to put that out at some point in the
Oh,
next
my
couple of
word.
years. So there's plenty to look forward to from Ian
Gosh.
Prowse.
And you'll be looking forward to the purple vinyl as well when it comes as well.
Beautiful purple vinyl.
Thank you so much for reviewing it, and I hope you've enjoyed listening to it. And thank you to Ian as well for letting us review it, and definitely check it out.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.